Hi there, I'm Karen Marie, and this is Psyched Up for Sunday, October 25th, 2020. So today I've been guided to talk about the astrological transit for the week, and we are continuing to be under intensive times. This week is no different. So I'm going to go over the highlights for this week. So the sun right now, it's in the evening, on Sunday evening, pretty late here. The sun is at 3 degrees of Scorpio. Mercury is retrograde at 2 degrees of Scorpio. So they're right together in the skies right now and have been for the last 24 hours or so. Um, so, Scorpio, let me just talk about the energy of Scorpio as the sun begins this transit and moving through Scorpio. So, the themes of Scorpio are it's a very intuitive planet. So, it can really highlight intuition and our inner knowing. Scorpio has gotten a bad rap in terms of, it's got that stinger up there, and a lot of Scorpions can like sting you if you mess with them. But they're it Scorpio is a water sign and it represents like the deep, dark waters. It's the depth of emotions. And so the Scorpion energy can help you dive deeper within yourself. That's a big plus as the sun moves to Scorpio. Also, it can highlight your own intuition, your own intuitive abilities can really come to the surface as the sun begins to move through Scorpio. In the first degrees, it's really about your intuition with yourself. When it moves to the later degrees, it starts being your intuition into other people. So you can have some really great insights into yourself this week, especially with Mercury there right now, because the Mercury rules our head or rules our communication. It also rules technology and transportation. So when Mercury goes retrograde, we can have glitches with communication, talking, our own mind, our thoughts, get into miscommunications with other people. I sent you that email, you didn't get it. Oh, what? Things can get lost in the mail. Computer glitchy stuff. I've been experiencing that all week. Phone glitchy stuff. I've also been experiencing that. You can have your car get glitchy and break down and have issues with your car. Travel plans can be messed around. Um, so that's kind of this energy with Mercury retrograde. Earlier this week on Wednesday, it was opposing Uranus, which Uranus is sudden, unexpected things, but Uranus always brings about some sort of spiritual insight. So personally, that showed up for me of having some insights into some deep ways that I think about myself. That's an example of how Mercury retrograde could actually be a positive thing, can help you look at some things within yourself. So there's three different totems for Scorpio. The first being the scorpion, right? So hiding under rocks, staying low, and it's more of an observer energy. Whereas the next octave from the scorpion is the phoenix, which is death and transformation. The phoenix is rising out of the ashes. So it can represent the transformation process itself. And then the third, the highest octave, is the eagle, where it's flying high in the sky and can give perspective on your life. So the Scorpio energy can go from the deep dark waters to the highest perspective. So it really has the broadest range, um, of all the signs, I think, because no other sign has three totems like that. So as the sun begins to transit through, Scorpio for the rest of this month and into next month, there is this opportunity to really have some great insights, receive some strong intuition. Dreams can be really activated. Just intuitive abilities in general can really be highlighted. So that's what I see with that. Mars is retrograde still in Aries. It will be retrograde until like November 13th, 14th. I forget the exact day, somewhere in there. And so Mars is the planet of taking energy, movement. It's our ego. And when Mars is retrograde, we can just feel offline. It can take 3 times the effort to do things. I've talked to so many people who've just been exhausted. They just can't move. So a lot of that is that Mars retrograde energy, especially if you're like me. I'm a triple Aries. I'm ruled by Mars. And so I have really been feeling that. But it can affect everybody, like projects that you may have thought should have happened by now. They should be already launched, or I tried to start that thing. If you try to start something during Mercury retrograde as well, but Mars retrograde is just, oh my goodness, is really, it can take 3 times the effort to do that. So if you're feeling stuck and having a difficulty with something moving forward in your life, probably because of Mars retrograde, and you may find that that shifts in the middle of November as Mars goes direct again. Mars will be squaring off with the stellium, Pluto, Jupiter, and Saturn in Capricorn, again activating this transformational energy that we have in Capricorn. These outer planets haven't been in a stellium together like this in the skies. They've been there all year, kind of doing this dance with each other. And they haven't been together in the skies like this for 4,000 years. So this is unprecedented times that we're in. And they will continue to be unprecedented times. The good news is by December, both Jupiter and Saturn will be moving into Aquarius, where they will remain. Pluto will be in Capricorn until 2024. So we have, another 4 years of Pluto transforming the paradigms that we're used to. So that's not changing anytime soon. So we get some of this deep level changes that we've been experiencing changes that will be eternal changes. We'll never go back to what we knew as normal before 2020. We're transforming into a better place, I think. But the transformation process itself doesn't usually feel good. And that's what's going on. So you just stay in today. I think it's, like I said, great time to do spiritual work. The moon has moved into Pisces, where Neptune is as well. Neptune is one of the psychic radar planets. I consider these two the most psychic planets, the moon and Neptune. And so with them both being in Pisces, which is a very spiritual sign, it's a great time to delve into spiritual practices and feel the deeper aspects, the higher aspects of ourself. Neptune can also be delusions, illusions, addiction stuff. And so as the moon transits Pisces for the next couple of days, that predisposition that Pisces can hold for addictive things can really come to the light. It could even come to the surface, and you may decide to take some action around some addictive behaviors that you've been having, especially because Venus is at the last degrees of Virgo, where it's all been about loving yourself. Venus is the planet of love. As it moves through Virgo, it really puts our attention to loving ourselves and attending to what do we need to do for our own personal health. And so and it's wrapping up that lesson, like, what is it that you've been feeling that you need to shift or change in your life, like whether it's a food or dietary change, or a habit, behavior pattern. It's like, okay, all hands on deck here for the shifts. Okay, what else do I see? Chiron is at 6 degrees of Aries right now. Chiron is the wounded healer. So when Chiron, where Chiron is in your birth chart, is where we've experienced wounding in past lives. It shows up usually in early childhood and can be a pattern of where we feel wounded in this lifetime. Chiron's glyph looks like a key. And so the secret here is when we heal the area that Chiron is illuminating, it becomes an area of strength. So, but as the transit in Chiron is moving backwards in Aries in these early degrees, it's really bringing up aspects within ourselves, how we have felt wounded with ourselves. And it moves back to 5 degrees Aries by the end of the week, which really is about what do we believe to be true? So it's an opportunity to heal our beliefs, especially negative ones. So if you're having that kind of stuff come to the light this week, that's actually a positive. If you have something unearthed from within yourself, which is very, very likely this week with this Scorpio energy and this Chiron energy, it's an opportunity to lift it up to the light to be healed. So that's the good news. We have, what else do we have going on right now? Black Lilith, which represents our deepest fears, has now moved into Taurus. It's at 0 degrees Taurus as I record this. So it's finally moved out of Aries, where we've been really dealing with primal fears. It's going to be moving through Taurus, where it deals with our fears of more, how we feed ourselves, our money, and those kind of issues, how we clothe ourselves. So it's still going to be working on things that feel close to home, but it won't feel so deeply personal. And like, because going through Aries, it's really brought up like our deepest fears. And I think probably everybody on the planet has experienced their deepest fears coming to life over this period as Black Lilith has moved through Aries. So it'll feel a bit more of a relief now that it's in Taurus. Uranus is in Taurus. So Taurus is the earth itself. It's also our food, how we store things, how we store our food, how we store our money. It represents banks, how we clothe ourselves. So Taurus has been shaking up the earth for the last 2 years that it's been in Taurus. Like the activity on the global scale with fires and earthquakes and floods and hurricanes have escalated and will continue to be escalated over the next 5 years as it continues its transit. Uranus usually takes 7 to 8 years to go through a sign. So it's been in Taurus for a little over 2 years now. We still have more of this energy. So one of the things that's coming up this week is we have a full moon in Taurus on Halloween, the 31st. That's exactly conjunct Uranus. So the full moon, I mean, you know the word lunatic, where it comes from. My mother's a piano teacher, and she used to talk about how she could always tell when the moon was full by the misbehavior of her students in her piano classes. So the moon illuminates things. Full moons bring things to fruition. It also can be where things get endings happen, severings can happen. Uranus is sudden, unexpected things that come out of nowhere and shake things up. So with this, and the moon is also the divine feminine, so there could be a death of someone important, an important female, that happens in or around this full moon, on the, like someone on the planet that's a powerful female. We may find that there's a surprising death of someone like that. That's one way that the full moon Uranus conjunction could show up. It could also just show up in a major earth activity like earthquakes or, surprise natural, like the things I just listed before, that any of those things, the floods, the hurricanes, the tsunamis, fires, sudden unexpected things. Now, Uranus doesn't just shake things up to be, a nasty element. It's actually bringing about a spiritual energy. So it always tears things down or break things up to replace them with a higher energy, but it can be super disconcerting. So there will be something, especially with Mercury retrograde, and Mercury will back into Libra by this weekend when the moon is full. So there is very likely to be surprises coming up in relationships. It really is going to put an emphasis on relationships as Mercury moves into Libra, which is all about how we relate to each other. And so there can be sudden, unexpected things happening in your personal relationships, or just, we may hear major breakups of power couples. That kind of thing can also happen. Also, the north and the south nodes will switch from 21 degrees where they are right now to 20 degrees by the full moon. And that anything that's a 2 is a feeling, and 0 is like holding space for. And um, so there again, it's just emphasizing feelings are going to be extra charged. um, People can act cray cray around full moons anyway, and when Uranus is there with it, I just don't even know how this is going to show up. It happens in the afternoon here, so it's better, I guess, than happening when it's dark outside. So this stuff can happen in the daytime. It can bring about shocking positive things too. It doesn't have to be a negative, shocking thing. It can be like, whoa, suddenly you meet the love of your life kind of thing. That could also happen. But it can be something that affects it could be a financial shock, positive or negative. You can get a scratch off and win. You can also like find out, oh no, you get a bill in the mail that, oh my god, I didn't know this was coming. It can be that kind of thing happening. um so so Also, Venus will have moved into Libra by the full moon. So we have Mercury backing back into Libra, Venus moving into Libra. So Venus, the planet of love and relationships and what we put our heart and passion into, is moving into the sign of Libra, relationships, balancing the scales. So definitely there's this emphasis on relationships, big time, as Venus will begin to transit Libra. So, highlighting how do you communicate, being able to listen to each other, listen, that everyone's opinion matters. These kind of themes will be coming up, and fairness and justice will be a theme that's going to be we'll be heading into. Um, let's see. That's the biggest thing I feel like I need to talk about astrologically. So the clients I've been doing readings for in the last few weeks, like just everyone on the planet is going through transformation. There's not a single person that's not right now. The people that are already working on themselves are finding this great time for meditation and prayer and chanting and creativity and writing. The people who are trying to like just want things to go back to normal and are expecting, they're the ones that are having the biggest difficulty with these transits. And I'm getting a whole lot of people. We hear reports in the news of like the addiction rate is increasing, the suicide rate is increasing, domestic violence is increasing with everybody being locked down. But a lot of this is because, not just because of COVID, but this astrological template, petri dish that we're in, that's just saying you must transform your life. um, and of course, we've had so many deaths here in the United States, around the globe, from the COVID itself. And so many people who have lost loved ones are dealing with grief, deep level grief. So that's also out there. So the collective is hurting. Many people have lost their jobs. So we all affect each other. So this is where spiritual practices can help raise your energy up out of the collective that's in fear and worry and sorrow and grief. Like, this is where it really sucks to be an empath, when the collective is hurting so badly. um, I have really been noticing it big time, and just feel it in such a deep, deep way. And so the only way I have found to take off this impending doom feeling is to chant, to meditate, to pray, to get out in nature, breathe deeply. And when I do that, I can like feel this lift off, and like, all right, this energy can move further away from me. But there's definitely been some super dark days for everyone on the planet right now. I expect, like I said, the election to take a while to call because of the planets. Um, we're heading into a very, very, very powerful time around the winter solstice as well, December 21st, 22nd. I'll talk about that as it gets closer to it. But that is going to be a lot of that's a powerful day as well. So these powerful days that we're going into can be the times that we can transform our lives. I just want to emphasize that again. If you can look at these times as transformational times, a time to transform the things within yourself that your own inner voice has been guiding you to do, yet you've been avoiding, or maybe you haven't been avoiding it. Maybe you are in the middle of doing your work and transforming, and you're like, yeah, I've been doing a lot of shifts and transformation this year. I personally have taken it that way. I have used this time to deepen my spiritual practices and put down habits and behaviors that have not been working for me. um, and so I feel like it's been a very powerful time, and I've been really enjoying the inner work that I've been doing. It's a great time to go into therapy, especially with the sun in Scorpio, or to talk to someone, to journal, to get involved in 12-step groups. There's lots of help out there for those that need it free. A lot of people are in need of that. And I know when you're in a deep, dark depression, it's sometimes the phone weighs 2,000 pounds to pick it up and call somebody. But that's the very thing that you need to do sometimes, just in airing what's going on with someone else. You can lift your spirits. You can transform what's going on just by bringing it to the light. So I think that's all that I have to say with this week. It'll be interesting to see what kind of sudden unexpected things. I really feel like emotions and feelings are going to be really up. So people may be voicing that, and the people that aren't voicing their feelings are the ones that are going to have the most difficulty with this week. So talk to somebody, get it out somehow, write in your journal at the very least, get a journal, write on pieces of paper and burn it if you don't want anybody to read your journal. It's just important to communicate and get these deep level, utilize this energy this week to make a shift, make a change, have something illuminated. Listen to your intuition. So what's your intuition? It shows up differently for everyone, but I firmly believe that everyone is psychic. That's my business name. Psyched Up is all about the fact that I believe everyone is intuitive. It shows up in different ways. For some people, the volume is turned up really loudly. You can't ignore it. Other people's intuitive volume is turned down or off, but we all have psychic abilities. People are visual. They can see auras. They can see spirit guides. They can see ghosts. I don't have that. I don't have that one. Some people are telepathic. They can really know what other people are thinking. Empathy, the one I was talking about before, where you feel other people's feelings. That's what I have. I can definitely feel in my physical body what's going on for other people, emotionally, physically. When I'm doing readings for clients, I can start getting a subtle sense. It's not usually as powerful as my clients experiencing, but I might start feeling like a headache when I'm around someone who also has a headache. I may be starting, I can feel like my stomach is funky and around a person who's having stomach stuff, or my heart might start racing and around someone who's having heart issues. So these are just ways where I can start using my body as a map when I'm doing readings for others. And can pick up and feel that. Some people have the gift of psychometry, so you can pick up and you can hold an object and get a read on it. There's just a myriad of ways that psychic abilities show up. If you listen to all the senses that we have can show up in psychic ways. And so your intuition is the connection to your higher self, your inner voice, your divine self. I call it my Buddha nature. You can call it your Christ self, or your, divine, whatever name that works for you. Your intuition is the voice of that. It's a beautiful, loving voice. When your intuition is trying to guide you, it will gently prod or it will bring in things with a very loving energy, whereas your mind will tell you things, and it's more of a rigid, you need to do this, you should do this, and maybe you should do, like, if it, you can even track down, if you don't know the difference between your mind and your intuition, where is the information that's coming in at the moment coming from? Does it feel like it's coming from here? Or does it feel like it's coming maybe from your heart or your gut or the back of your neck? When I'm channeling, I feel like it's coming into the top of my head, which is different than when I'm feeling empathy for someone else. It's coming, like, it's just like my own system is activated and feeling. When I channel, the information is I literally feel it coming in through my crown chakra. And I'll also feel it sometimes with like goosebumps, or my hair raises on my face or down my arms. I'll get like a rush of energy. Or sometimes if someone else is saying something that's truth, I'll feel it in that same rush. Like, I'll get this confirmation, yes, that's truth. Truth being the divine truth versus your opinion. So those are just some subtle ways, some basic ways that you can begin to get in touch with your intuition. And I just suggest practicing that. We often know what our intuition is in hindsight, when, like, oh man, I knew I shouldn't have gone to that party, or I knew I shouldn't have done that. And, like, because you override a feeling or a gut thing that you get, your logical mind rationalizes it, overrides it, and then you find out later, I knew it, I should have listened to myself. So that's often how we learn how our intuition is talking. It can often be in connection with other people. You can be having someone come on your radar, you can think about them often because they're thinking about you, or they're going through a difficult time and you're picking up on it. That happens to me all the time. If you'd like a reading with me, you can contact me through my email, which is bringoutthebuddha@gmail.com. That's bringoutthebuddha@gmail.com. I do psychic readings. I use astrology. I use tarot. Like I said, I'm a channel, I'm an empath. So it's a combo deal. When you get a reading from me, I'll usually like to start with your birth chart and the current transits for you when I'm doing a reading. And then I like to move into using the tarot. I use a non-traditional tarot deck and channel with that, starting with a general reading usually, and just see what I pick up that's going on in your world through the cards as well. And then if you have specific questions, we can look at that both in the chart and through the cards. I also do past life regressions. I do rebirthings, which is a process of guided, coached breath work to clear out stored energies in your body. And I do psychic development instruction. If you want to learn how to do readings, develop your abilities, I can work with you with that. I also do house clearings. So those are my basic services. I'm a musician as well. I'm also available for house concerts. Right now, that's been looking like me showing up at people's yards. I've done a couple events where I've sat up and been in someone's yard doing music. So I'm happy to do that. I can do that solo. And I also have a duo with my 17-year-old son, Rafe, who's a musician. So we can do that for you if you're interested. My website is down. We've changed the name on it. I say we because I've got a group of people that are working on it with me. Mars is retrograde, my ruling planet, so it's not finished yet. So hopefully by the time Mars goes direct, I'll have that up and running. And so I'll wait to announce that when I do have that up and running. But that is something to look forward to, a whole new revamped website. And I think that's all I need to say. I would love for you to subscribe to this if you're watching. And if you're still watching at this point, thank you very much for your long attention. I really appreciate all my clients who give me feedback about these videos. If you like it, share it with your friends. If you're a friend of mine on Facebook, I'd love for you to comment and share it on Facebook as well. Get the message out. Let everybody know that I'm here. So peace.